Hello everybody, my name is Pooks, and welcome to the latest installment of the Pooks cast. Today I'm joined with my good friend and co-host, Centurian.
Howdy.
So, as always, today we're going to be taking a look at some questions that you've sent us over on Discord. We'll also be talking about some world news that's been going on, and we have a very special interview from Werewolf, an actor at Pooks & Company. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, before we get into our Discord questions like we normally do, I do want to say a few things about current news, specifically regarding the coronavirus or COVID-19. As most of you should be aware, the coronavirus outbreak has spread to most of the world, including major countries such as England, the United States, Australia. So this is just a message saying everyone stay indoors, wash your hands, and be safe. I know with cases rising, it's very important to keep watching the news, figure out what your local governments and countries are doing in regards to the virus. So this is just a PSA to stay safe and wash your hands. I believe Star would agree with me on that.
Right, definitely. And also, in a lot of countries, different states have different ordinances of what they want you to do. So it's always really important to be checking the news and just staying safe in general. Not practice social distancing. Don't go outside unless you really need to. All of that stuff.
Yes, I definitely agree 100%. So stay safe, stay indoors, limit contact, wash your hands, use common sense. Off to the Discord questions. Now, moving over to Discord, our first question comes from Fozzie. Fozzie asks, with companies like Oculus and Valve shaping virtual reality, what do you think is going to be the future of virtual reality? Now, I know in previous episodes of the Podcast we have answered similar questions like this, but I do want to get Star's opinion on all this, so I'm going to throw it over to him first.
So, I see you're mentioning Oculus, you're mentioning Valve. It's important to also realize other players in the VR industry as well. There's a lot of companies who aren't exactly big names making mass consumer headsets like the Rift S or the Index. There's companies making enterprise headsets for the aerospace industry, NASA, and that's always important to take a look at. There's also Sony who makes their PSVR. And that's been a big player. But as for the future of VR, I feel like you're gonna start seeing more stuff like the Oculus Quest. Low cost, very high. They improve in the areas that say the PSVR didn't, or because the PSVR was known as the budget headset, right? And we can probably agree that title has gone over to the Quest now. So as far as the future goes, you're gonna expect more wireless headsets. Low cost, obviously, because that's the number one key point with any new technology, is you want to drive the cost down so that mass adoption goes up. More stuff like the Index, high refresh rates, you're probably going to expect that. I'm not so sure about stuff like haptic vests and Omni thread mills. You see that technology, but a lot of it isn't really practical. So I feel like right now, at least within the next 10-20 years, you can just expect general improvements when it comes to the headset itself, the FOV resolution, and the controllers themselves, right? That's definitely for sure what we can expect.
Yeah, to add on, I definitely think that full body tracking and hand tracking without controllers, since that has been added to the Quest, I think that would definitely improve and become more mainstream on most headsets. So I think controllers won't be needed, and your full body will be able to be tracked with legs and arms and things like that. So I think we'll definitely see more of that, actually quite in the near future, and then it will just get better as time increases and hardware gets better and software.
Yeah, yep.
Yep, so let's move on. We'll check to see what our next question is. Our next question comes in from ? Asking, what do you like most about virtual reality? Now, I know this is a question we have answered on the Poopscast before. I'm going to say the same thing I always say. My favorite thing about virtual reality is just the immersiveness and the scale you can get. I'm sitting in a small room now, and I've said this exact line before, but if I look out that window, there are trees and mountains and clouds, and it looks like I can go for miles, and it's just immersive and immersive, and that's my favorite thing about VR. I'll continue to say that every time I'm asked that question. So I want to see what Star's favorite thing is, because I'm excited to hear that. So, throwing it over to you.
Favorite thing about VR, huh? So, I guess, yeah, immersion. Definitely the biggest factor in virtual reality. I remember the first time I got to try a proper VR headset was the PSVR. It was they were putting out like public demos in local Best Buy, like before it came out, and I got to try games like Eve Valkyrie and PlayStation Worlds. Specifically, that like the scene with the shark when you're like down underwater. Like, there's just nothing like it, 6 degrees of freedom, being able to walk around your play space. It's just, it really does change how you play games. And now, a couple years later, with Rec Room being ported to PSVR and stuff like that, my favorite thing about VR came just to it's a way to connect with people. It's more personal than a phone call or a video call. You can meet people from all around the world. It's really just this amazing, great new medium that we have to not only provide entertainment, but I guess, keep up with your, social life in a weird way. Because a lot of people I've met in VR, I've actually met them in real life at this point. So it is really a good tool for that, I would say.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
As far as that goes, definitely my favorite thing about VR is just the immersion factor and how it lets you connect with other people.
Yeah, I agree, that's a big one. I think, up until there's some huge advancement in VR technology, I think it's, for most people, going to be immersion and delving into worlds that you just wouldn't be able to be in any other medium.
Yeah, and it's also just a new way to play games, Before you're sitting in mouse and keyboard shooting up zombies, now you're actually holding the gun, they're running at you. It's just a different way to play games.
Yeah.
I feel for some people, like, as regard to VR, everyone has a different reason to play VR. So,
moving on, our next question comes from Chrono on Discord. Question for the Pooks cast. What other VR games are you planning or would you like to play or record in? Now, as most people, the game I'm looking most forward to is Half-Life Alyx. Everyone's looking forward to it. It is the next big VR game that's going to come out, the Valve's launch title. So I'm really excited to hop into that and play some of that, record some gameplay. I know everyone will probably be recording gameplay on their channels, but I think that would be fun to play and record in. Other games I'd like to try is a Township Tale. I know people have been telling me that's a really fun game to try, so I've been recommended that a lot. So I'd love to get in and record some gameplay of a Township Tale. Lots of people recently have been recommending that I delve more into VR chat. I don't know if I'm going to. I can try. I have played VR chat a little more recently. I have been playing it a little more than I have, so maybe that's a thing that could happen. Try some skits in VR chat. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I could try it. Other than that, no. A game that I do enjoy very much is Star Trek Bridge Crew, so I'd like to do some recordings of that. I know the game's player base is kind of dead at the moment, along with Marvel's, what's the game called? Powers United? I think it's an Oculus exclusive title. That game is also very dead, but those are two very fun games that I would love to record if I can get a group of people to play. If you have those games and want to play with me, hit me up on Discord. We can do a video on them. Those are the games that I'm looking forward to and wanting to play. I'll throw this over to Star now.
Not much more I could add, Half-Life Alyx, that's the big one. We're all waiting for it, Very excited. I've obtained a copy just very recently because I own the Rift, right? So we have to buy it, since we don't have Index hardware. But definitely very excited for that one. As a matter of fact, I'm currently playing through the Half-Life series. I just finished up Half-Life 2, so I just need to finish episode 1, episode 2. Another VR game that's already out, actually. I haven't tried it yet. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. I heard that one was really good.
Mm-hmm.
How do I say? The physics are pretty good. There's stuff like Arizona Sunshine that came out a few years ago. But there's a lot of things you can't do in that game that you can do in Saints and Sinners just because of the way VR is kind of advanced. Not on the hardware side, but at the software side. People are understanding what makes a VR game good, And a lot of it is being able to interact with the environment. So I guess it's another game I should really get to. Just haven't gotten the time. Although with the current crisis, I might have more time. A lot of us might have more time. That's for sure.
Definitely. Adding on one other game I forgot to mention was Boneworks. I've heard that's a really fun game, and their physics engine is great. So if I get a chance to pick up a copy of that, that's another game I'd like to add to the list.
Definitely a good shooter on VR. Nothing else quite comes like it. Like, there's just no other game like Boneworks. Basically, I guess it does to VR what Half-Life did, like Half-Life 2 with its physics. It's almost the same ballpark. So if you haven't played Boneworks, definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, definitely try and pick up a copy of that. Moving over, CharVR asks, Pooks, why do you still play Rec Room when there's other games you could do the exact same type of videos in? Now, I've never publicly come out and said anything bad about Rec Room, and I don't think there's anything quite wrong with Rec Room. The reason I continue to use Rec Room as the main platform for the videos I make is because I have a bunch of good friends that I've made in Rec Room. I'm established in the community. I am friends with some developers and things like that, so it's just a previous establishment, and it's just the platform I started on, so I think it's the platform I'm going to stay on for continuity reasons, and it's a good game. I like the building aspect. You can customize things and make things exactly the way you want, so for skits and videos I can make sets tuned to exactly how I want them, so for the time being I am going to stick with Rec Room, but I am going to branch off and try other games, such as possibly, like I said, VR Chat, maybe for Facebook Horizons when that comes out, so who knows. I'm going to try them out, but I'm using Rec Room because I'm established in the community, and it's just, I like the platform in terms of video making, and I don't know if Star has an opinion, but yeah, that's what I'm saying on Rec Room.
I don't have quite an opinion based on, like, you know, moving over to another platform if you're already established in another game in this case. It's a very difficult thing, because, you know, once you have 1,000 hours in one game, and you try to move over to another, it's not quite the smooth transition you would like. Like, I cannot imagine making a lot of the skits that you can make in Rec Room, say in VR Chat. It's just not possible, right?
Yeah.
You have to be, unless you're, like, experienced in Unity, you know, able to manipulate worlds in VR Chat. It's a completely different, completely different beast than in Rec Room, whereas in Rec Room focuses more on building stuff in game. You know, VR Chat, you're building stuff in Unity, and it's completely different. Same with other games, you know. Other games have different scripting like mechanisms. Like Rec Room has circuits. Something like Anyland has like something similar to like Scratch, where you like input commands like if this happens, then do this. It's all completely text-based, and lots of different games have different ways to do things. So moving over to another game is just not as simple. It's just, you know, I'm going to start this game up today instead of this one. Not that easy.
Yeah, that's practically what I'm going for. So yeah, that's the reason why. Moving on now, we are joined by a very special guest and my good friend, Werewolf. Now, they are an actor in Pooks and Company and have been in a bunch of skits that I've produced. So we're just going to get his thoughts and opinions on things he's done with me and what it's like to work with someone who makes YouTube content. So I'm going to get started with that. So our first question we have for you today is, what productions have you worked on with Pooks and Company?
So I've had kind of a very busy filming career. I've been in a lot of the skits, some background characters, some speaking points. But I would say like one of the most recognizable characters I have would be Ensign Howler from the Rec series, because I've been in all three of them.
For those of you who have not seen my Rec Series 1, you should go watch it. It should be linked somewhere. And also, Ensign Howler, a similar outfit there. He has the same hair and horns and the red blazer outfit with the tape recorder. He started out in the first episode as an ensign, and he's moved up the ranks, and he's just been one of the only recurring characters on my Rec series. That's something I'm going to start doing more often, is having actors come back as recurring characters and build on things that way. So I'm glad that he was kind of my lab rat for building characters and over multiple skits, so I'm glad you were able to be that role. Moving on, what do you like most about acting with Pooks and Company and working in skits and YouTube videos and things like that?
So I would say the best part would be just being part of something that people care about. Like, I would see myself as kind of an outcast and normally, I guess. So it's just nice to be a part of something that people care about and that I do well in, I guess.
So you like the camaraderie, because I know you've been on a lot of sets and you hang out in the background sometimes, and it can get crazy sometimes, but you just like being around friends and having fun, because filming sessions are a lot of fun. I know in the downtime, when we're recording this, we're joking, laughing, just having fun.
Yeah, I just like being part of something just to be a part of something.
Yeah, that makes sense. And finally, with lives and everything, do you think you'll stick with Pooks and Company in the future? You think you'll stay with me?
So yes, for sure I'm going to be staying. I just want to be in more skits where I'm needed, not that I join in every single one, because I'd like to give other actors a chance. I've been in about 20 or 30 of them now, from my guessing, so I just want to give other people a chance. But yes, I will still continue.
Good, because I'd hate to lose you as an actor, because you're one of my core groups. So I'd like to thank Werewolf for being here and taking his time to talk a little bit about what he does with Pooks and Company. This is also another big plug. You should watch all the skits that Werewolf has been in. You can find them on the recommended tab on YouTube for this video, and you can do that also by clicking on my profile and looking at the rest of the videos. Also, since we're talking about my YouTube channel, I normally don't do this on the Pookscast, but I just want to get Centurion's opinion on if he likes skits and Rec Room content in general and things like that. So, what's your opinion on all this?
Opinion. Well, anyone who makes, you obviously have a lot of, how do I put it? You obviously care a lot about the game, considering you like to make content for it, right? Whether it's rooms or participating in the contests or just keeping up a daily, filling subscription boxes with new content, weekly. You do seem to really care a lot, and this, some of the skits are really funny. I would recommend them. The latest one with the, what was it? The woman, it was like the 1920s, the woman was stuck in the railroad tracks, and it's silent film style. It's stuff you can get with doing a Rec Room. It's just hilarious, right? Lots of tools available. So yeah, I would say that it's a really good thing if people like you around to fill the game up with content. With someone's down, how do I say that? Someone's not currently playing Rec Room, but they want to watching Rec Room content. It's always nice to have people around that create content for the game, whether it's out of the game or in the game. Yeah, you get the point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll accept that answer. So again, I'd like to thank Werewolf for being our special guest, and if you feel you bring anything to the table and would like to be a special guest or co-host featured on the Pookscast, all that information can be found over on my Discord server, link in the description below. I would like to thank everyone for tuning into this installment of the Pookscast. I'd like to give a huge thank you to Werewolf for being my special guest, and an even bigger thank you to Centurian for being my wonderful co-host.
Yeah, anytime.
And as always, Centurian came to me asking if he could be a co-host. So if you out there in the internet land would like to be a co-host and have Rec Room, you can hop over to my Discord and apply to be a co-host there or a special guest. Like I said, all the information for that about my Discord and all of my socials are down in the description of this video. I will also have some sort of links for Centurian down in the description, whether it be RecNet profiles or social medias, things like that. So please check the description. And as always, don't forget to do all of that YouTube fun stuff, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. And until next time, I'll see ya. Bye!